weed versus real weed? Come on, we're going to be like that, Scotty? Is that how it has to be? Big weed versus real weed?
No, come on. That's just the clickbait title that I picked, man. I'm so interested, though, in commercial weed because I've seen good stuff. I don't know if you can tell, dude. I'm somewhere else, man. I mean, I'm in Florida, bro. Could you tell?
Oh, right on.
Is it my background, man? Anyway, I seen pretty good. It seemed pretty good commercial weed. I had to go to the dispo before I came down here. And it kind of just got me thinking, man, what do they do right? What do we do right? Home growers. And then what can we learn from each other? Isn't that beautiful, dude?
I know.
Isn't that
I know how we could figure that out. Disclosure. Just want to let people know I used to live in Florida. Like Scotty's you're very typical. The pool in the background is not a status symbol or anything. Everybody has one down there. So
man, I will tell you guys, I'm at my buddy's mansion and my buddy had a purple awesome life. And last month called up and says they got pancreatic cancer. Within a month, he's gone, man. So pool don't mean nothing if you ain't got your health, boys.
Is this where you can walk around the house and take stuff? Just kidding. All right. let's get into the show.
Too soon, dude.
Hey, we got a
dude's gangster.
We're hanging out with Michigan Matt. Welcome. If you all know the show, Michigan Matt, old school DGC. He's been in the commercial grow game for a while. If you couldn't guess by the name, up in Michigan. So let's get into this, man. Welcome, Matt.
Thanks for having me. It's been a minute. I'm happy to be here, and we got a lot to talk about.
Hey, what did you put in your background? I put tropical paradise, and this came up.
I put office screen.
Pretend I'm at work.
Look, I put blueprints here, so that way it looks important.
Yes, I will tell you as much as I'd say if we could switch right now, you might love it here, but it is oppressively hot. Florida is I go to my bamboo nursery while I'm down here, and I just hide. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna go and figure something fake to do in the air conditioning.
Nope. Give it to me. Give me all that heat. We sit at 82 to 84 degrees and 72% humidity in veg, and that's where I'm spending all of my time.
There you go. Wow, that's all right. All right. Yes, sir.
That's how I want my head grower's office looking like. Like, you don't spend much time in there. You're going to be out in the grow. But I do have I'm just do a conversation starter here, Scotty.
Wait, hang on. I got a timeout, man. You would I have a buddy. And you go over his house, and it looks like he's like Dexter or something. There's nothing on the walls. There's hardly anything in the covers. I want my head grower having some personality, man.
Man, I've been here 3 weeks, so we can get into this too. I've been here 3 weeks. Just give me a minute to break it in a little bit.
All right, I'm buying you a Pink Floyd tapestry, man.
It'll do.
All right. Well, I got something for Matt here. Matt, this is right off the format. I'm gonna spice it up here and say, corporate grows are everywhere now. Giant facilities are cranking out pounds. There's slick packaging and products stacked on dispensary shelves. But let's be real. A lot of the time, it's just mids in a shiny bag.
Hey, wait a minute.
A lot of times, it's just mids in a shiny bag.
Instead of mids, all right, I heard top shelf popcorn. What do you got? I got top shelf popcorn today. Come on. Is that a new way of saying mids?
There's a clear, even on the dispensary shelf, there's just, at least in Michigan, I can speak to everything that goes on here. There's a clear differentiation between the top tiers and then the next tier downs. It's pretty obvious at this point.
And what does that do to? I mean, it's all corporate. Is it due to management the same way they've got?
I think a lot of it right now is so in the Michigan scene, a lot of caregivers grew up and kind of graduated out of the caregiver homegrown model and took that model into a commercial space, but couldn't handle all the stuff and steps and people management and scheduling and everything else that came with it. So in my opinion, the reason that there's a big discrepancy between top and bottom is because those bottoms don't have their SOPs, those procedures like really ingrained in place. There's things that they're doing that you can take out that wouldn't affect anything, but yet cause a more efficient, effective grow. We had a DGC member at one point by the name of Less is More. And that is something that I live by as much as I can. Less is more when it comes to inputs in here.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how much is actually growing from running a commercial facility. How much of it is actually growing, and then how much of it is basically managing a business. The same, I have a bamboo business I have to manage and make sure there's people not chugging beers in 100-degree weather at the end of the at the end of the line or whatever, the planting line. But seriously, you have problems with employees, you have problems with equipment. And I bought the wrong packaging machine, and now it's freaking causing me agita. Shit like that, right?
You see it all, right? You do it all, you see it all. And I can't take any of that away from being possibilities that happen. But being the leader of the company, like having myself out there to be accountable for the employees, to be accountable for ownership, to be accountable for the marketing and the messages that go out, like that's something that then the home grower kind of evolves to eventually. You know, like I just said this, I've been here 3 weeks and I really haven't been outside of the garden yet. 6 months down the road, it'll be a little bit different once all my procedures are fully implemented and the employees understand kind of how to run things. And then I can kind of start pulling back a little bit, be more hands off. And it's not that I'm not growing. I'm still going into every single room every single day. I'm still spending time with moms. I'm still spending time with the little clones in the veg. Like, it's important for me to still be hands-on clones. But at the same time, it's important for me to bring a solid energy to the grow every day, right? We see it every day. If you're having a pissed off day, the plants will be pissed off too. If you're having a good day, they're having a good day.
All right, let's take it into the grow. I mean, Matt, you just recently, you were at a facility for a while, took some time off, and now I believe you've had an opportunity, to take over or, help out a new facility?
No, it's take over. We can call it straight up what it was.
Oh.
So I started with I started as a caregiver myself right back in the day with the 2 lights in a shed. Evolved to 40 lights in a warehouse where what used to be the trap days. That turned into 150-ish lights, and now I'm sitting the new place here with like 250 lights here, so flowering lights.
Jesus,
so 5 rooms, 48 light rooms.
How many people does that take to run? You said 250 lights.
250 lights right now. It's me plus 4, and then we have some temps that'll come in every once in a while if we need like some help to kind of help us around. But at least the gardening work, like the day-to-day basic work, is me plus 4. Yeah.
Can you imagine applying for temp work and them sending you there? They send you to some random warehouse.
They're industry temps, so because
I was about to say,
it's their industry people still.
I'm hauling up gross industry temps.
It just seems like an insane amount of work, man. So what's it like if you get into a facility, you just got into yours? Give me like a workflow. What do you do? First thing you do is clear house. Everybody's fired.
No, first thing I do is reassure the staff that everything's going to be okay, that we're going to go through slow change, not immediate change, right? Yeah, no, I'm not a manager. No, not a manager. I'm a leader. It's different. 2 different completely things. I lead. I sell out for the mission. That's what I'm here for. And we can get into other stuff too, that we can get kind of into that realm. But no, first thing I did first day was introduce myself, qualified myself, gave my story, and then told them that everything's going to be okay and things are going to shift and be more efficient, more effective. I think part of those growers that are like I said, that teardrop down, a lot of them are so super closed off. The guy that I took over for here, it was very closed off. He wouldn't answer questions. And if anybody asked him why, he couldn't give them a reason. So I looked at my employees the first day. I said, if you ask me why I'm doing something and I can't answer that, then we shouldn't be doing it. So I challenged them to kind of challenge me too, to kind of rethink some of my processes and some of the things that we do. But it was a very slow change. And then number 2, we went to environmentals, and I just changed out all the environmentals around the entire facility to be more suitable for healthy plant growth.
What do you mean by that? Because I'm always telling people, hey, environment is everything. And it's so unsexy to invest in, a little bit better air conditioner or a couple new air movers or fans or something. Is that something that you find as you go to these different locations? Environment is one of the least, is it ignored? For us, the home growers love buying lights, but we don't love buying fans so much.
So a while back, we did a podcast. I think it was a live episode with Rasta Jeff, and he said, "How are you going to know whether you have Kobe or Michael Jordan if you don't pop those genetics and have those genetics?" But I could counter with Would you rather see their full potential on a basketball hoop that's attached to a garage, or their full potential in a gym that is suitable for a pro type athlete? So I consider that the environment, right? So the environment always number one first. Going to the VPD charts, following VPD, depending on where you are within your cycle.
What's up with I'm always curious in a commercial grow because I see still a lot of double-ended HPS lighting. What lights are you guys using?
I was using HPS up to like 3 weeks ago. Now this is a full LED facility. Gavita's
facility. Go ahead, Scott.
Sorry, I gotta ask, man, because how do HPS is like, as far as the efficiency goes, it's like 1.4 efficiency rating, and then LEDs are up to 200.
Up to like 3.1, 3.2.
Yeah. So you said 1.7, 1.8, or
I think Gavita's double enders are like 1.6, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
so, we're talking about micromoles per joule, the amount of draw that the light is getting versus the amount of light the plant is getting.
So if that's the case, how the hell, as a business running 250 lights, how do you justify using a light that is providing half the amount of light for the same amount of energy? How does that work?
So I used HPS up until the last facility that I was in, and obviously you're going to get a better energy draw by having something that's a 630 watt fixture versus a 1,000 watt fixture. When I was implementing that facility, I was going based on all my sample sizes up to that point, and up to that point, all my sample sizes were based off of HPS. So that's just what I stuck with. The science is there; it's been there since the beginning parts of the Dude Grow shows that we've been doing, the grow mouses. The grow mouses and what have you out there with the education that shows us that LED lights are more efficient and more effective. So you see every once in a while I'll still run into an HPS facility, but for the most part nowadays where everybody's in LED plus the rebates, right? So we're getting big kickbacks from the energy companies here.
Can we talk a little grow talk really quick? Because I'm trying to figure out the right height to hang my lights. And I had thought dude, am I going off track too bad, man?
No.
This is all right. Okay, man. I was playing around the right height to hang my lights. And I always thought if you had multiple lights, because I had thought that was the deal with those Gavitas, why they would hang them really high. And I thought because they would cross, each one has like a V pattern, and that they would cross, and that you would get, overlapping light and multiple sources of light. Is that how you keep your lights high when you're growing?
Well, that's extremely accurate. Yes, the crossover, that cross pattern. With HPS, we want to stay a little bit higher because of the infrared lighting, right? So the temperature on the leaf surface is going to be higher than what it is in the room, and it's typically brought up because of the heat of the lamps. So we want to keep a little bit of a distance from the lamps so we can make sure that we're not burning the tops of the plants or bleaching the buds. So leaving like a 18 to 36 inch gap between is something I would definitely push if somebody's still using an HPS fixture. With LED, you can grow, up to like almost an inch of that fixture. But it's important to have some sort of light meter, some sort of something that at least gives you an average. I know there's an app, maybe you guys know what it is, and you can, phone zone or whatever. Yeah. So it's not like 100% accurate, but at least you're getting an idea of where you are versus buying an apogee meter that's like $350, right? So just download a quick app and have something. So that way you can kind of see where you're at throughout your cycle. But it's important to kind of start them a little dimmer when they're young and take them while you're taking them to full cycle and kind of increasing wattage as you go, especially if you're an LED grower.
Now, do you think about, DLI, PPFD after LST or the other order?
So leaf surface, like they're, no, it's good. It's good. No, I'm going to they all need to be taken into account, right? So you need to be taking the shoots. Like you can get a temperature gun for under $20. You should be shooting that leaf surface temperature and knowing where you are. Because honestly,
tell them about that really quick. Just tell them about leaf surface temperature, because it is a big deal when you use an HPS.
It's time to light it up. AC Infinity's Evo series. Every light in the series has a removable driver, so you can keep the heat out of your grow space. And they are up on the tech 3.14 U-moles per joule. If you want to geek out, my favorite feature is the built-in timer on this. It has 10 brightness levels. You can do sunrise, sunset. It's right on the fixture. Super easy to use. No separate tab timers or any of that jazz. Check out AC Infinity's LEDs over at acinfinity.com. Coupon code DUDEGROWS will hook you up with these top-notch LEDs. They got a size for every grow tent. acinfinity.com. Coupon code DUDEGROWS will hook you up. Back to the show.
Surface temperature, because it is a big deal when you use an HPS.
So we want to keep, right? Yeah. So with HPS, it increases the leaf surface because of infrared lighting that the HPS puts off. It's going to increase the leaf surface temperature on your plants. When you're using LED, there's no infrared lighting, so whatever typically whatever the room temperature is or what you're feeling in that area is what the plants are also feeling and reflecting. And this is like, so when we talk about VPD and VPD charts, it's VPD charts are really based off leaf surface temperature, not room temperature. You can use room temperature to be a guide, but at the end of the day, you should really be looking to see what's going on at the surface of the plant in multiple spots in the grow. Even if you're in a little 4x4, like what's going on in this corner, what's going on in that corner, what's going on up front by the 10 or by the 10 door, right?
I think dude was just messing with us with the LST, so I'm glad.
No, it's okay. We can see, and then the PPFD, right? So the PPFD is then the measurement. It's the measurement of how much light your plants are getting. So that number needs to increase over time. So that's when we're talking about starting a little bit dimmer and working your way up. If you're in a 4x4 where the light is just in one spot, eventually that plant's going to grow up to different levels of PPFD if you stay at the same percentage. So keep that in mind kind of while you're going to, and depending on like where your fixtures are and how things are held.
So get back to the hanging height then. How much of a difference of height, hanging height do you use with your LEDs now? You've got a whole bunch of them so that they are still crossing paths, right? Or are they not very much?
So the way that this facility is laid out, because again, I didn't lay this facility out. I took over this facility. Each LED is like stacked on top of each other. So it's almost like a nonstop flow of bars. And these are like 8-bar fixtures. How you still can plan it out a little bit more where you can space those a little bit and take advantage of more of a crossover. But because the lights being stacked so hard the way that they are, I definitely have to take light meters into the rooms and start adjusting at percentages. We move the lights up and down still based on size of plants, stretch, where we are in maybe the veg time. But for the most part, by just leaving the fixtures in one spot and increasing percentages within that fixture will raise my PPFD. And as the plant's stretching and growing more towards the lights.
So is there any overlap there? I found that I had to lower my lights like it's raining like crazy. I had to lower my lights a bunch, man. You know, I had like my LEDs now are like 15 inches over canopy compared to would never do that with them and an HID.
Again, it depends on your fixture, right? In the way that your fixture is laid out. If you're in a 4x4 with an 8-bar fixture, like you don't have to even worry about that. If there's 2 fixtures, the LEDs will still cross over. Right? Think about the way the light's falling. It's not just falling straight down. There is kind of a little bit of an overlap that still happens. It might not be as strong, but you should be testing those gap areas too.
Yep.
Interesting.
Scotty, I want to take it to realddc.com. You made a post, as you do every week, for you producers to help us build these shows. Realddc.com, guys. We have 6,800 growers hanging out over there. It's free to join. So check it out if you haven't gone to realddc.com. And this is in the VIP lounge. And I wanted to talk, first shout out to Pure Vita Farms, Bad River Farms, Rob. Who else we got on here? Angus 420 and Smokey the Bear. But a comment, which I know you wanted to talk a little about some of this, Scotty, from Bad River Farms. Grambo, actually show Bad River Farms. I think we got a picture of the crew with the jug dealers. Shout out Bad River Farms executive producer. Yeah, there we go. What's up? Gabe and Jared hanging out. I'm not sure. I guess these are all Bad River Farms. I don't know if one of the guys is a specific. Yeah, one's got to be Rob.
You got Cody, you got Mr. Sparkles, you got the whole crew over there, the Bad River Farms guys. I'm calling them the Bad River fam, not just the farm. They're the Bad River fam. Shout out to all the crew.
Rob had a good comment on here. So it says, I started off as a home grower and soon afterwards selling on the black market. I think this is the tale of a lot of commercial growers, actually. I was in the black market for 20 years and loved it. After moving back to South Dakota, both rec and med passed, with rec being overturned by our Supreme Court a year later. Said I found a partner from the financial sector and we sold shares to begin a small indoor grow, 48 flower lights total, 4 hoop houses, and a medical dispensary in South Dakota. Our building was just about finished when our Supreme Court overturned the rec law, putting our customer base down to 5% medical patients only. And then immediately after opening, THCA hit the market, double whammy. Before I continue on, was that in effect in your market in Michigan too? I mean, THCA, I mean, people, like Soup Dog selling on the internet, whoever else wants to sling shiz.
I think the consumer is a little more educated here than they used to be, and I'm pretty sure that it didn't really affect us too hard. I could be wrong, but I haven't personally seen anything.
Just curious. I know THCA is definitely just being sold on that, what I call it, open market until something might be changing with the farm bill. I don't know, Scott, I'm going off the rails. Should we ask about, is there any opinion on how rescheduling, I wish it was descheduling, would affect your business other than I know banking? Like it would be a bonus for where you're sitting, right?
Banking would help, but there is a drawback. I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. And the cons are the hedge funds. If the hedge funds come in, they start buying up people in their massive conglomerates, then who knows where we'll be sitting 10 years from now.
What I mean, paint me a little, I don't know, get your crystal ball out.
Hedge funds have the big money, right? So like a big fund comes in and buys 10 of the top grows here and now operates them all under one umbrella, right? So, and they be having full control over the market, supply, demand, pricing. Yeah, you can't compete
with that. Like even what they're, down until they get a better deal on their inputs, their nutrients, they're buying shit tons of grow lights, whatever they're doing. I got it. It's okay.
Fortunately, though, I think we're in a community of cannabis people that will allow these little guys some of the little guys still to last. And like this guy with 48 lights, like, honestly, I'm kind of envious. That's an awesome size to have, especially state licensed and commercially, because you can control your supply and demand so well with that. You can control every little piece that comes in and out of that facility, and that in itself is it's an advantage that bigger grows just don't have. And that's why the bigger grows, like the 1,000 lighters, these real big grows, those are the race to the bottoms. That's why we're getting $40 to $60 ounces out there.
You must be running real efficient because Rob has 4 full-time employees for his 48 lights. And says also, we would hope to qualify as real weed, not big weed. And I know Scotty has said, like, I don't know if he's having some internet issues down there, but I mean, he's always got that mantra of like big cannabis versus the little guys. And it's interesting to hear about a concern, we'll say, about the rescheduling and somebody coming in and just, I guess everybody's for sale for the right price, right? Even where we're at, maybe it'd be wrapped up in a hedge fund.
It is what it is. I can't control what's going to happen in the future, but what I do know is that there's a lot of issues and things that go on within the market, especially in Michigan with money on the streets and things that coming back to the grows is just creating a situation where people are struggling. If we could pull some sort of coalition together and get something changed around here, it'd be nice. But we just kind of take it day by day. And it's not that his 4 guys for 48 lights might be trimmers and stuff too. Like that doesn't count our trimmers or, like I said, temp work and stuff.
Dude, there's some people, that's where you hire in some people, right? Trimmers. I know that's their full-time career. I would go insane. Just go from grow to grow, trimming. Is it hand trim? Is that how it's rolling still? I know I got a buddy that runs a 16 lighter and he has a guy that comes in with a machine at harvest time because it's just not worth his time.
No, all right. So in my past, I've always hand trimmed, 100% hand trim always. Here, what? So like some of these procedures, like I said, that we're changing, like this, please don't do this. Please don't wet trim your weed. Don't take buds straight off the branches while they're wet and then trim them and send them through a trimmer. So what that's doing is putting the chlorophyll back in the weed when we want the chlorophyll to come out of it. So we're losing so much flavor, so much smell, so many terpenes. It's just
don't wet trim before using a machine. But are you saying also, even if you're just a home grower, don't do a wet trim, dry it first?
Yes, dry first. Yes, highly suggestive. Yeah, even if that means man. Well, that's it. We're getting the chlorophyll out of the plants, right? That's the number one thing. When we're drying those things upside down on the branch, we're not putting the chlorophyll back in. But when we're wet trimming and we're like trimming wet leaves, the chlorophyll has a tendency to suck back into the flowers. So that's when we get a bunch of hay smell. We get nasty terps. We get stuff that's very unenjoyable to smell. Very green weed.
Take the fan leaves.
How long you dry for?
Okay.
I take the fan leaves off. Absolutely. I full plant hang. This is even at home in like my little 1 or 2 lighter that I'll still run from time to time. Full plant hang, strip fan leaves. We here harvest on a Tuesday. The following Friday, so what's that, about 12 days, 10 days later, something like that. We shake the chunk out, right? We take the big pieces of the stem out. And then we put them in, put the rest of the bud in bins with the bins lids open, still sitting in the same parameters, same temperature and humidity ranges that I like. And then that sits over the weekend because Mondays the trimmers come in and start trimming on them. So that's basically 14 days after harvest we're trimming. We have testers come by Friday, and then it can hit the market the following Wednesday.
Oh, freshies! I like it, freshies.
Yeah, what are the fresh? First off, we're fresh. Yes, we're always fresh. We want to get that shit out as soon as possible. I don't want this stuff sitting around. We can do a little bit of a cure, but personally, what I've noticed is that I personally like the fresher weed, so I like to push that out there. My parameters, I like 60 to 62 degrees. I like 56% humidity. So I like, because again, we're coming a little bit faster. I do have regulations to worry about too, and I don't like my stuff too spongy. I've found that roughly like 56% is a good spot for me, especially if that stuff's about to hit the market.
I like it. Scotty's still there because I got more.
Yes.
I'm not used to having them. I'm not used to having the mic more, man.
I know. I'm trying to be considerate, man. I feel like we're jumping at them, man. But I just have so much to ask, man. So
that's why I'm here. Please bring it.
The cure is where you're taking the THC. Actually, it's not really the THC. You're trying to preserve the THC, right? As an acetate still, you don't want that degrading, and you're trying to degrade the chlorophyll. Is that right?
Yes, we want the chlorophyll out. Correct.
Yeah. So the idea is there's enzymes that will keep on degrading that chlorophyll as long as we keep some moisture in there, right?
That seems right.
Yeah. So do you guys? So what you go out at?
I like
humidity.
I like to set myself around 56%.
And that's after like 2 weeks.
So that's, like I said, it's 11 days on the full plant, 2 days in a bin, trimmers trim, and then out for testing by Friday. So 17, and then, let's call it 3 weeks from harvest date till it can hit the shelves.
You ever tried anything that's cured? That's like, a couple weeks older that you had in the personal jar?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Like we, not everything always sells right at once. So that stuff, like we're still in there. Sorry, I don't mean to say we're not curing at all. Like once that stuff hits the tester, then we put the lids on the bins and we start our cure. And then it goes into a special room with I kind of like that 56 to 57% humidity, 62-ish degrees. And that goes into that pops. We burp that at least once a day. Sometimes weekends we can't get to it more than that. And those are burped for about 15 minutes while we're taking things off. We're mixing it up, trying to get fresh air and a whole fresh, just an exchange of air within the tote.
Interesting stuff, man. I couldn't imagine that scale. Are you allowed to say how many pounds you would harvest a week?
So again, we're 3 weeks in here, so I haven't fully pulled the harvest yet, but a 48 light room, with 5 rooms, we're going to be, actually, I take this back a little bit more. So after we we transplant to 1 gal. 1 gal goes for 14 days, then do a 3 gallon.
How many clones do you take? Just I'm sorry, I just want to paint a picture on this scale,
sure.
man. So
for a 48 light room, and we only have a 1,500 plant count license because we have a med license. So I have to stay under where I would like to be, but we're doing 200. We need to get 200 plants into flower. So we're taking probably 260 to 280 cuts, maybe a little bit more. And then we're going down to like 240. And then when we make that final transplant into a 3-gallon pot, then we're going down to 200.
Oh no, who goes through? So you got to go through and you're picking the best cuts of the cut. So somebody's going to be calling or throwing out a bunch of cuts as well. I wouldn't like that job.
It's me. I talk to them. We let them know that they've served their purpose. The moms, especially, the moms really need a good pep talk before they get. We have to remind them that their lineage is being carried on. That they're not just going away. They've served their purpose. Oh yeah, well, if you don't think that I'm not serious, and I go in every room and say goodbye pretty much every night, especially to the moms, and see them tomorrow. So there's something to it.
Should have delivered the address here, man. You would have been great.
I'm going to give a shout out here because I know perfect place that Matt, I always say commercial growers, when they're the inputs into their grow, they're looking at, pennies on the dollar because it's a tight market. And you run Canna A and B. I know you at times are still run Canna Cocoa. Shout out. I always remind people Canna Cocoa is available everywhere. Get their brick on Amazon or just support your local hydro. They still got Canna Cocoa. But is that because of testing, ease of use? I mean, I know the end results are good, but touch on that quick. Why did you hone in on their A and B?
Because I'm a once homegrown caregiver who wants to bring fire to the market. And there's other companies that will bring fire to the market, but what I've been able to create with Canna has been pretty special.
Thank you. And just advocate. I love that you advocate for it's not that hard. Man, they do overcomplicate this shit to sell products, man. I don't know if I say that live. Rambo, you can edit that out, man. Seriously, man. I mean, you need a good A and B. You're going to do good with the 3-part. And they'll talk about all these crazy products, these amino acid chelates and well, the plants need amino acids, man. Do they build them or they digest them?
Before we go into that, I just want to throw a full transparency out here that I also do work for Advanced Nutrients. So I have them in my back pocket as well, and I'll use their products, which we talk about redundancy of products and too many products. That's a place we can start, right? Advanced Nutrients has always had this 13 bottle lineup plus whatever it is that you don't necessarily need every part. And I'll be completely, so I'll sit in a meeting with Big Mike and I'll tell him, I'll say, why do we need potassium silicate? Yeah. It's not plain available in the time that we need it, right? So let's get the right products out there that are actually servicing the grower in the right way. So, like we talked about earlier, less is more. So what do? I'm very simple. We start with filtered water. We don't start with RO water. We are on a meter here, so we don't want any waste. And so our starting water starts at a 0.2 EC, so about 100 parts per million on the 500 scale. From there, I add CalMag to get me up to about 7 EC, between 5 and 7 EC, depending on where we are in the cycle. Then I add my A and B to get me up to about 2.5 EC. And then additives that come on there typically are...
Is that the 600 or 800 scale?
That's the 500 scale. Sorry, not 5.7, the 500 scale.
No, but seriously, you just take that. That's EC is how pro growers talk. You just take that times it by 500, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, unless you're European. Yeah, if you're European, then you do it by 700. Yeah. That's why we talk EC, right? This can just with the same scale, but it can be measured 2 different ways. So let's go to the core unit, which is EC.
Yeah.
So, and I'm feeding that 2.5 EC. So it's like, I will use a monosilicic acid. Typically, I like silicium from 5A Distribution, Mr. Jaron. I find that to be a great monosilicic acid. I use that along with a little bit of CalMag, like I said, to bring myself up to the levels I need to be. Then mix in the A and B, and then typically there's one additive that we'd be using. So if that's in veg, I'm using a product from Advanced that hasn't hit the shelves yet. It's called LXR. It's a mixture of B52 and tasty terpenes. So it's multiple bottles basically into one bottle, and that's my rooting enhancement, if you will. And then in flower, I do like some sort of bloom enhancement, whether that's Canna Boost.
Just gonna ask, like that's my crutch. Like, do I need it? Because when I'm in like prime flowering, I'm addicted to the bottle, man. I always want to have some. I've used Massive from Green Planet. You just mentioned Boost from Canna. But I feel like I always have to have a little extra bottle, and dude, I need to do it. I still have some. I hear you, Scotty.
For me, it's differentiation. right? When everybody's growing, so there's a term that's called salt packs. If you've ever heard that term, when everybody's just growing with salt nutrients and using hypochlorous acid and not doing any type of beneficial microbes, all the weed's going to taste the same. It's just there was a competition over the weekend. I was fortunate to get a judge kit. There was 28 entries. 6 of them were solid. The rest of them were subpar. Like it was so obvious and blatant on kind of who runs those types of salt pack hypochlorous acid type feeds, when we can be using organics or we can use biostimulants to help our product become better at the end of the day. That's what I want. I want a product that I want to smoke. I want a product that tastes like it smells. Good.
I mean, there's a ton of additives. But there's a ton of additives you can use. For example, like we talk about the essentials, right? Your trace or your macros, your secondaries, and your micronutrients. But then there is all this extra stuff. You know, kelp is one of them. Trying to think, humics and fulvics work. You know, I definitely see benefit from, of course, microbes. But man, there is a lot of extra stuff. It's not necessarily plant food. But then there's a bunch of bullshit too. Let's be honest.
Yes, there is. And that's why it's just be simplistic and still find some sort of organic input, whether that's recharge or something else that's like, it's going to give you that supplemental little burst of microbes within your media.
Yeah.
Like that, it helps. Like it does. It helps at the end of the day. Yep. Like it's going to help your weed taste better. And that's what we need we need weed that tastes better.
I was just going to
say, it'd be so awesome if your background really, you know, it cheesed out, man. It was actually, you were sitting next to me in the palm tree. That'd be awesome.
My green screen just kind of flickers in the background and all of a sudden you see it
out, man. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Scotty, of course, man. Just mention the humics, the fulvics, the microbes, the everything. Thanks, Matt, for I'm a shout out to Recharge. RealGrowers.com, guys. If you like the show, go vote with your dollars. Go to RealGrowers.com. You can use coupon code DUDE and get some grow buckets, man. Scott, I've been seeing a lot of grow buckets on RealDDC.com pictures of people's grows. So there's a lot of DDC enjoying those sub-irrigation planters.
They are real buckets, dude. Okay, don't get me sued by the grow bucket people. Man.
While I'm here, if you guys are a grower and you're listening to this show and you haven't gotten any value out of it, then you'd be crazy. All right. We're here because of DDC. We're here because of DDC producers making the show happen. Grambo on the boards. You got to wave when I say that, Grambo. Okay, Grambo, I'm going to try again. Grambo on the boards. Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Grambo is the hardest working person on the show, man. Always, man. I almost feel guilty.
It's always it's a little bit different when I'm down here in the Gram Fam studio, the Borg studios, as it were.
Yeah.
So bear with me if I'm slow on the trigger.
Yeah, baby.
I want to shout out some producers, guys. There's you can be a producer, associate producer, executive producer. It starts at $10 a month. Shout out to Green Ogre Farms. And I wanted to feature Green Ogre. Yeah, there we go, Grambo. You're already joined up on RealDDC, realddc.com/upgrade. But Green Ogre Farms, basically, hey, anybody that you guys create your grower profile on RealDDC and let me know. Message me. I'd love to feature them on the show. What's up? You got enough sweat? That's just funny watching you just wipe down there. It must be
I'm reading Green Ogre Farms and I'm sweating already, man.
Yeah. Green Ogre Farms, grow style, cocoa and 5-gallon pot sip buckets, LEDs, no nets. I like to move my plants around. Nutrients, Virginia, quality grow supply in Staunton. Scotty, he uses cocoa and grow dots and recharge mostly, and maybe some at drug dealers' secret sauces. What does the secret sauce incorporate from the drug dealers?
Hey, that's their anything that isn't their bases. So like the Carbo, the Winter, the Ruby, the PK, all that sort of stuff.
All right. We've got the experience level here of Green Ogre Farms. It says only since legal and currently growing some DDC favorites, Cherry Plum and JR Cut, our Emergency also from JR, Buff V from Seattle Chronic Seeds. And it says, about me, the Shenandoah Valley surrounded by the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Growers love at Green Ogre Farms 2 on IG. Shout out, man. I appreciate you guys when you make a grower profile. Got a couple more here. Shout out to Grow Flow.
Wait. You got to give respect to the Shenandoah Mountains, bro. All right. Come on.
I've never been over to the East Coast. Haven't made it. West Coast just seem more appealing all the time. I guess someone gets some shit for that. But that's okay. Give me comments below. Hey, I was supposed to ask you, Scotty. Green Ogre wanted an update. How are your autos going, man? You have 2 autos in the grow still?
Might be the Shenandoah River. I'm not sure, man, but it's either a mountain or a river, dude. All right. It's in a song. Dude, I do have those autos going. And I guess I'll have to be real with you. 2 of the 3 of them look like crap. They look like crap. I'm testing a couple things, different water levels, and I let the water level go too low one day on all my stuff. No big deal. I top watered them. Everything looked like crap for 2 days and came back. Not the autos, man. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know about those autos. They're not as much fun to grow for me.
Yeah, it's not operator irrigation error, but you're saying either way.
It is. It is. And guess what? I'm the kind of grower that makes mistakes and like to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. It's going to take me 10 days to recover, but not, I got to throw them out and start over again because I made one mistake, you know?
Yeah. All right.
I'm not perfect. I do this grow show. I enjoy learning about growing. I make tons of mistakes, man. Tons.
No, it definitely happens. Matt, I'm sure you don't have time for too many mistakes there. You're on a daily, almost hourly schedule in the grow.
Yeah, it's bi-weekly, but yeah, like every day we're doing something we did 2 weeks before. But yeah, it's you can't miss a beat. But I don't miss beats. I don't like to miss beats.
What do you do if you make a really bad mistake? I mean, how do you
point my finger at somebody else?
No, man. But I mean, what if it costs your boss money? You got to walk into the office and be like, "Yeah, I screwed up, man."
I'm not one to sit behind something wrong that I've done I'll call myself out. And if I screwed something up, then I'll make sure to be the first one to call it out. But that's why I typically like my hands-on clones, because that's the most delicate part of this process, anyways. Then if I know that those are coming out happy and healthy, then we're typically setting a foundation for a good grow.
Have you ever had to dump? This is reminding me of grower mistakes here, where I used to fill up when I had a bigger grow.
This camera follows me.
I was wondering if you had a camera.
You can't hide, Scott.
Like,
you can't hide.
I'm hiding.
The lean tech doesn't work. That's hilarious.
Doesn't work.
You're reminding me, speaking of grow mistakes, like the biggest resi I ever had to fill was a 50 gal for a deep water culture system. I'd be sitting there, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was too high. Maybe I had a couple pints. I got a phone call and I go back. I'm like, dude, did you put in, what'd you do last? Like, fuck. Like, do you have part B in there and then just having to dump the whole damn thing? Because you can't do that.
You can't do that, man. I've done it. You can't. Me, yes, you know.
What's nice about commercials, there's cameras everywhere. So if I forget if I did B or not, I can go back and count the amount of times I went back and forth to the res. Yeah. I've done it so much for years. I've been doing it.
All right.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Hold on. I got a couple. Yes, I got to finish these DDC shoutouts real quick. I can't leave these cats hanging, man. They make the show happen. I'm going to shout out to Grow Flow. What's growing on? And hey, have you ever been to Dad's Dispensary? Probably pretty dope.
Wait, that's my studio.
Nice.
Yeah, the kids.
Spewed, DGC Spewed. What's happening? Not so sure. Dankwing Duck. And I don't know if you're trying to trigger me here. E-biking fun guy. Pretty good name there. E-biking fun guy.
Dude, e-biking is fun, dude. Okay. How dare you? I'm sorry. Let's all be more like dude. Okay. E-biking is awesome, man.
And then, Grambo, are you taking this last one here? Who do we got?
Well, it's my favorite thing to do all day, every day. It's weed at work.
No, weed at work is a note for me, you goofballs.
That's for me.
I wanted to ask Matt about weed at work.
All right, hold up.
Because
this is what
you put him in.
All right. DGC. If you are over on Real DDC, you can go to realddc.com/upgrade. Don't forget, we have merch, realddc.com/merch. Horrible at promoting that. Producers, you get 20% off our merch. You can also visit all our pros, realddc.com/deals for discount codes. And when you join up, Scotty hooks you up with 30% off Real Growers products. It's a no-brainer. Go over to realddc.com, 6,800 growers hanging out. Join our clubhouse. What's up?
Yes. Okay. Wow.
Take it, Scotty. Take the microphone.
You know what? I just have to ask Matt. I am a boss. Okay. And when I say boss, I'm the guy that's in charge. I'm the guy that pays for the insurance. I have several companies and I have to handle people I hire, mostly stoners. So weed at work. I've had a couple people where I just had to say what was said to me one time. Some people can't handle smoking weed at work. You're one of them. So how do you, and by the way, if you give people a little, they'll take a lot. So how do you handle that, man?
There was one guy that had worked for me in the past that I had to be like, hey, man, like you slow way down when you smoke. Let's wait to the end of the day to smoke. So I've only, unfortunately, only had that once. But like now I bring the weed to work usually and smoke my employees out. Like I need to get stoned. If they need to get stoned, then let's go get stoned on lunch.
Yeah, that is a great way. I used to smoke weed with my boss, and it was a different company, nothing to do with weed. But man, we did have that bond. We had 20 other people that worked in that division, but me and my buddy Dennis, we're buddies, man. We smoke together.
Same thing. Like no work is below me. I'll be the first person to get down on my hands and knees and start scrubbing the floor. So I'll be the first person to take my guys out and smoke them down or bring them some breakfast in the morning or something like that. Because this is the way that I look at it, at least on the commercial scale. I could do everything and I would probably never see my family or ever leave this place. Like literally 24 hours a day would probably be my schedule. But if I can bring people in that can do some of the work and take some of that load from me, then that's why we bring these employees in. And that's kind of what they're here for. They're here to help me out, to give me a hand. And then I do everything that I can to teach them as much as I can. I've had 3 guys underneath me graduate to be head growers elsewhere, and I take pride in that. And I will always tell my guys, like, learn and ask, like I said earlier, ask me why. Please ask me why. Let's teach, and then that you guys learn a little bit more. And if you can get something better somewhere else, then go get it.
What about if you were giving someone advice that was dying to get into the cannabis industry? What advice would you give them?
So dying, is this like grow advice or like getting in the cannabis industry?
Getting in the industry. If I'm going for a job interview, what are the things that I should say if I want to get hired?
That's a loaded question, right? All right, so just like regular.
Okay, I'll tell you something.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Is that when someone goes to my buddy who's a copywriter? And he goes, I'm creative. They go, sorry, man. No, I'm not looking for creative.
That ties into, would you rather have a really hard worker that is solid with no grow experience, ready to learn, or have somebody that comes in and says, hey, I've been growing for 10 years. I'm a great grower.
Well, that's a loaded question.
It is a little bit, but I'd rather have the uneducated person 9 times out of 10. Not saying that any of the guys that do know what they're doing is wrong, but it's
he loves the uneducated.
Yeah, I love the uneducated. It's easy for me to train somebody. Like I can train somebody very easily. And if they have if they've been doing this and they've been growing for a while, like I'm not going to say that you can't be here. But usually those people should maybe be looking for a higher end position than just something entry level too.
Yeah, I mean,
Scotty, or go ahead.
I'm just saying, what kind of skill set do you look for? I can tell you what, nice guy Kenny was a strip club bouncer for 20 years.
I got a good answer for this one.
He had to take crap from people. He had to kick Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons out one time because the girls didn't know who they were because they were like 23 and they weren't spending enough money. He had to kick the 2 guys from Kiss out, and he did it. He's got balls of steel, man. Guess what he does? He sells my recharge now. When some big high roller calls me up and wants to buy $10,000 worth and buy it for 0 profit because it wants to bust my balls, Kenny's like, no. And he'll tell him to leave the club if he needs to, man. But the point is that he has no training being a salesperson, but he's freaking great at it because he developed the skill set doing something different. I don't know. You find that
I had no skill. I had no skill in marketing and doing events, and all of a sudden that's something else that's taken off with me. So you uncover things throughout time. But when I'm like interviewing somebody, the first thing that I look for is like, did you do a cover letter? Do you take the time to actually write something out that has meaning more than just your job history? Because if you took that time, then that shows you have some effort. You have that initial burst of effort. And then, are you persistent? Like, do you call me back? Do I have to reach out to you? Like, these are all things that I kind of take into part when I'm going through an interview process. But I'm a very good judge of character too. I have played poker professionally for years, so I can pretty much read people pretty well and know like this person's going to fit in here or they're not. But here's another cool tip of advice. So for any other like maybe high end growers that are like maybe watching this too, like don't ever hire out of panic. Like that's number one. Like if you're panicked and you need help now, then you're going to find the worst employee ever. I guarantee it.
Same advice with girls, by the way.
True.
Okay, well, let's take it to two things. First, there's always, you've grown both styles, home grow, commercial grow. A lot of people like the mantra, but dude, you can never grow like homegrown, bro. Like my homegrown out of my 4x4 tent, like will never be as good as that in a commercial setting. Like, can you pull off with the 48 bloom room light? Is the quality that you would in a one lighter?
Yes.
Whoa, where's the mic? Damn it, I don't know my mic.
That's it. Yeah, I'm done. Episode over. Let's leave now. No, but for real, like I still treat every single plant individually, and I make sure I'm taking track of it, keeping in my mind at least track of every plant, what they're doing, how they're looking, how they're feeling. Are they heavy? Do they need to be fed? Do they need to be skipped for this feed? And this goes throughout the entire facility. So,
do you hand water?
Veg, I do. Yeah, veg, I still hand water. But when we get into flower, it goes into irrigation cycles. But yeah, there's different types of irrigation methods. I personally, I still am like kind of the feed once a day type guy. I don't really do any crop steering or anything like this. I feed when the plants are ready to be fed and not like kind of force feed them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
If we can get it, I mean, because it is interesting to talk to somebody that does this for a living, that's probably done the experiments to figure out if one is, the A/B testing is one better than the other. But do you step up your clones and do you step up your plants, or how many times do you step them up?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that back up. I think we were going there earlier. So we go clones to ones and then ones to threes. We could probably now, like, this facility is different because it's got it's called a rhythm system. It's a fertigation unit that
I don't trust the rhythm method, man.
This is a very sophisticated nutrient delivery system. So I can really get down and granular and do a lot of different types of programming. But for the most part, I haven't used a system like that in the past. Scotty, what was the initial question?
It's just about stepping stuff up. I mean,
down here. Yeah, no, that's good. You're good. So clones to ones to threes. So we do 14 days in a 1 gallon. We do 2 weeks in a 3 gallon. Usually one of those weeks are in the flower room. And so we're moving into a room because it's a 5-room system. We can then create a 10-week schedule where we're harvesting every other week. But typically I'm only going about 63 to 68 days. With that, I have to have a room clean and cleared 70 days after the plant is brought in there for the next crop to be able to come through.
Wow.
But so that I can kind of play with other veg days methods and stuff. But anyways, that gets us into this every other week schedule where we're like bi-weekly doing the same thing we were 2 weeks before.
Man,
I like it.
Dude, you talk about just emptying a room and then filling it up again.
Yeah, everything's fast.
I will allude to the problem. You told me that you walked into this place and inherited a problem. We were talking about IPM and bugs on the Wednesday live. Man, what do you do when you walk into a place and what happened?
Before I run fully to that, you just mentioned something that triggered automation for some reason in my head. But there's actually a facility in Vassar, Michigan that is fully automated. This place is really cool. So the pots are pre-filled and molded, and they're set on the tables by a machine, and they're set in their rows of 4. And then that just sits on that 4x8, and that 4x8 sits on a conveyor. So then you go and you do your transplanting yourself. But when it's ready to move into the flowering room, like you harvest a room, you just pull a table out and it puts a table in. So it's a constant flow. It's pretty neat how it goes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we harvest on a Tuesday, we reset and have the room back filled on a Wednesday. So that's that schedule. Anyway, so going into IPM, So we we are going through and having root aphids at this moment. So it's not obviously the best bug of the bugs to get, but it can be treatable and it can be beatable. Anything can be beatable. It's just going to take time and patience. I've learned a long time throughout my growing career that sometimes you just have to throw your hands to the air and say, okay, this is fully out of my control.
Yeah.
This situation is this situation that I inherited was out of my control because I didn't create it, but I have methods in which we'll treat it. And then I still have to just leave work at work, right? I got to go home. I got to let myself rest. I can't lose sleep over it. Yeah, I can't lose sleep over it. I can't have nightmares. I have to move on.
What are you doing? Give me a quick hit on how are you going to treat your root aphids? I mean,
we're doing a root. Disinfect everything for keeping everything clean, keeping the area clean, keeping water off the floors, keeping water out of saucers. Those are all big steps in like cleanliness against IPM or for IPM. What we're doing to actually attack this problem is using Botanicard 22 wet P or WP wettable powder. I believe that is a Bacillus thuringiensis.
Yeah.
Yep. Is that right? We're also looking at a new product. I don't know how new it is, but Botanicard Max, which has that, but it also has a perithrin. That's the one that comes from chrysanthemums. Yep, that's the one. Yep. So it's derived from that. So those are the two that we're going to be doing hard root drenches with. We'll use those products bi-weekly, and then on the off week, we use like an Azagard or any type of azadirachtin, or we can use Venerate and Grandivo from Marone Bio Innovations. The combination of those work really well. So we're like, it's not a cheap method that we're going through. Like we're using 4 to 8 pounds of products, to apply.
Those are kind of really cool approaches. I was just the mode of action. I was just refreshing my memory on Botanicard. It's a fungus that affects the insects, right? Like that's pretty sweet because at least you're not putting something in that's going to have a negative effect on your rhizosphere or any microbes or anything else you got going on.
We still have to watch the plants too, right? How the plants are reacting to because we're still giving them pesticides, right? So I'm watching, making sure that they look good after treatments. And when we do our treatments, we're still doing them with a proper dry back. Like we're not just doing them when they're super heavy. We're feeding them when they're ready to be fed, and we're doing just a really heavy slur of this. Now, if we didn't have this issue, I would never be doing these root drenches. But because we have an issue, we have to go and attack the issue. Once I have the population under control, which it may be 3-4 months before I feel this comfortable. But once I feel like we're under control, then I'm going to really start bringing in biocontrol, so little bugs. I just don't want to bring them in now and then just kill them the next week when I go to do another root drench.
Yeah. Man, as you figure this out, because root aphids, you don't see them. They were showing up on the yellow fly traps. So it was
adult flyers.
Yeah, there were some adult
nasty.
Yeah.
Once you see adult flyers, man, you got some shiz going on. But you can just take the advice of this old man Johnny. He used to visit the grow store I worked at every once in a while, and he'd be like, you know what? Like, I always have about 10% root aphids. It's fine.
So did old man Johnny grow dank? I gotta ask.
I've seen a lot of plants die in this facility. Like,
oh my god.
Anyway, go ahead.
Before we wrap up here, I know we wanted to ask, we've covered spray terps. We've done a whole show on what the hell are people. That's basically where botanically derived or whatever you got, you're spraying some flavors on some weed. And I forgot which YouTube video I was. There's actually a market for it. Like people know that's what's going on and they want that flavor. Is that
I was going to say really quick, man, just because I was just at the dispensary. I'm so surprised by it. But yes, there are people that want fake terps. I asked the guy about a live rosin cartridge, and they were $40. And then the distillate carts with bubblegum flavor were $43. I was like, what's going on with that? And then he's like, dude, I actually like these better. So I'll drop it to you now, man. But I was shocked,
They're there, they're out there, and people do like them. And they like them on weed. They like them in their carts, but I mean, the true cannabis people, I don't think ever really care for anything like that. But I've seen it applied multiple facilities. And all right, so here's another piece. So I do these events. I do some parties, and we take in pre-roll contributions from other vendors, and we hand them out throughout the night. and one vendor brought me spray terps, and I had to look at them and say, hey, look, that's not this audience. Like you have to come a little bit better than that. This is like industry people. Nobody's going to touch this. Like, and you don't want your name to be out there like that.
I've seen is also people putting it on products without letting the consumer know. Like I bought some pre-rolls in California when I was visiting recently with my dad, and I was like, I have never smelled or tasted weed that was so like, it reminded me of Smarties. And like you'd open the container, and in the car it's like, who opened a bag of candy? I'm like, this can't be real terps. But there was no mention of it being spray terps or anything. There was
a group in this competition that entered a spray terp pack, and it said bubblegum GMO. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting cross. And I pulled it out, and it smelled like Hubba Bubba. I'm like, no, so this is just spray terps on GMO. That's basically what it was at the end of the day. It's nasty. It's gross. Yeah,
you could just tell by the smell. You're like, there's no way any weed.
It's unnatural. Yeah. Very unnatural.
Well, what about there are those botanically derived and naturally derived terpenes? I mean, can people try to sneak, especially being a commercial grower? I'm not saying you, but is one of the tricks sneaking in and spraying a little bit of just the right amount of artificial terpenes?
I'm sure, especially with a lot of this remediated product or the product that's being produced and sold for $200 to $400 a pound. Like they're really end of the road. Remediated? Oh, that's a product that failed testing and then went through a process to unfail testing. Simply put.
Irradiation.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Isn't it some kind of radiation? They put it in the
typically
box.
UV radiation. Typically the process goes to it.
Then they can spray THC back on it. Some type of
yes.
Does the THC...
it happens? It happens.
Oh, wow. The THC degrades though, right? Or it just is still THC. They keep it in a decent state, but it got mold or mildew or something.
It degrades. Yeah, it degrades. You're frying your shit just to make sure that it passes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you guys both said trick the consumer, right? Like I heard that word come out of both of your mouths, and the way that they trick the consumer with spray terps is they say infused, right? This is infused with such and such, right? Or an infused joint. Yeah, it's infused with spray terps, so don't get confused about that. But hey, at the same time, a donut, yes. I don't know how familiar the audience is with donuts or hash holes, they can be called. So this is a joint with rosin, a strip of rosin inside of it. This is extremely popular in Michigan. Extremely, like dispensaries are full with them. Hand rolling has become an art here. There's plenty of hand rollers that they do awesome, fantastic work. Like I'm so spoiled that I got a guy I can take any of my stuff to, and he'll do the nice, pretty hand rolls for. Man, it's another enjoyable smoking experience. However, an infused joint can also be a donut, right? Because you're infusing then with rosin, so that's a good thing. So don't think that just because it says infused, it means it's going to be spray terps.
Dude, the kids have they've gotten too much, man, too much. Now they're putting the rosin in the joints. They're putting the rosin in the joints.
I can't believe you guys don't know about this. Like, come on, man.
We put a little bit of hash. We put a little bit of hash.
This is a full snake you put in it, right? And you smoke it right. Yeah. And when it ashes, it leaves a hole in the middle of the ash. So that's why they call it a donut.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Look up Grambo, pull up some hash holes or donut holes. You can look up Fat Andy
with this stuff, man.
My guy Fat Andy will do. He does some, and he can make it so there's a little smiley face with your little ash. It's pretty cool.
What the hell?
Yo, that's fat, man. That's fat.
That's how he spells it, actually. Yes.
That's good shit.
All right, hash holes.
Grambo, we're waiting on you. Where is it, Grambo? Where's the? I want to see the.
Well, Grambo is also like running half
doing 12 things at once
compared to the bakery. He's got all his screens,
and it's always it's YouTube,
Gotcha.
You can't show certain things, but we'll post some of it over on realdgc.com.
Just look it up, or you can just look it up. Just type in hash hole or donut.
Oh, Matt.
Yes.
Thanks for taking the time to hop on. It's been too long. We got to get you on some more shows. You said you're harvesting tomorrow, I believe. So
tomorrow,
let's tell people that, by the way.
Wait, hang on. In 2 days or 3 days, we're harvesting on Tuesday because it's Saturday.
Matt,
there we go.
If people don't know you, man, credential yourself, because I don't know how long it's been since you've been DGC, since we've been friends, but Man, we met through this show how long ago, and how long you been a commercial grower or a grower in general?
I've been growing since '09. I started trapping a 40 lighter in 2014, and I think it was
Word.
2015 when I found Dude Grows. So
Yeah,
it's
I think
been
you're
10
right.
years. Yeah, I
Yep.
remember I remember the first phone call I made to Dude Grows, and Scotty picked up, and I'm like, well, this is actually Scotty picking up the phone. Like, who
Yeah.
else would it be?
We have
Do we
nobody
still have a
else,
phone
man.
number? We used to
Yeah.
have a phone number. Maybe we need a
I
phone
think
number
we
again.
did. Oh, Grow 420, man. We had
Yeah,
the
I think
Grow
that's what. Yeah,
420 line,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wow. We got to bring that
Yeah.
back. I'll
Yeah,
answer.
855 Grow 420. Let's do it.
Wow.
Is there any shout outs you want to give at all, Matt?
Michigan Matt 2 on Instagram. I just started Michigan Matt Grows, so I can actually maybe post some other pictures that won't get taken down. My other account, it's really been pushing a lot of the events and stuff that I've been doing. So if you don't mind, I'm just gonna take a minute and talk about that. So I'm doing community focused events, guys that are people that are professionals within the industry here. Hey, look at that, that's me. Um, we have like 1,000 people show up, all industry professionals, and we just party for a night. We'll do raffles. It's no competitions, at least up to this point. They've all been collaborations. We like to put on events that people like to come and have a good time, hang out together, and then we just cater everybody with as much weed as possible. So those hash holes and those donuts, like we have like 4 to 6 live rolling stations that are doing that live at the event. They'll put out like 300 a piece throughout the night, which is a big ticket. It's a big undertaking, but we just flood everybody with as much product and as much fun as possible. And we're continually trying to innovate and make things a little bit more interesting, and for people to kind of come back and say, okay, what did you do new this time? So always trying to do something a little bit more.
Scotty, it sounds like we have no excuse to not have like a DGC event in Michigan because you got the venue, probably you got everything we need.
Yeah.
You just call Matt and get it set up.
We can
was
smoke
gonna-
indoors. That's the thing. It's like we can smoke at these events, and like that is
Hell
for
yeah.
some people just a whole new level of fun.
Yeah, I bet.
I
I bet it is.
Cool. I'm gonna say, guys, if you enjoyed this, realddc.com. For all hang out, Michigan Matt, you need to be making a profile over there. We don't delete anybody's account. You can do whatever you want. I mean, not whatever, but you know, you can get down. And shout out to Grambo on the boards. Thank you for an awesome show. Scotty, I hope you enjoy. You can't say vacation when you're when you've done a funeral, but you know, you're working a little down there.
Yes, I have a bunch of work to do. I'm going to been to the nursery, going back to the nursery, and one of the best things I'm doing is I have a grow mentor here. He'd probably be freaked out if I mentioned his name on this channel because he's very well respected in the horticulture industry. But I hang out with him and really pick his brain. Or what's that?
We don't bring more respect if you're mentioned on this channel.
You know, it's a very different crowd, man. It's a very different crowd in
Fair enough.
than it is here. So a lot of times people will keep their cannabis use separate.
There's starting to be some good crossover though. The indoor ag con has a big cannabis section now, so there's starting to be this crossover
because
we're becoming more acceptable.
We were talking a little bit about automation, and we're like, holy crap, they've got these shelves that come out. The craziest automation I've ever seen is at these big horticulture events. You know, the Fanat show in Orlando, Nursery Growers and Landscapers Association show it is, but things like that, they're incredibly efficient. They've had machines that will fill, you know, liners basically, which liners are like a clone dome type of thing, you know, or a seed liner. They'll automatically install the seeds. I mean, they've had that for decades.
It's coming.
Yeah, and by the way, they make stuff for $2 a pound, $4 a pound, $10 a pound is expensive.
It's going to go from a 4-man crew to a 3-man crew to a 2-man crew, and eventually just you and AI.
Then two live crew.
That's right, man.
All right, I hope y'all catching it on the weekend. Have a good weekend. RealDDC.com is where we hang out. Thank you, Grambo, Scotty, Michigan Matt, and that's all I got. Stay higher. Stay higher.
Hell yeah. Very cool hanging out, everybody. Thanks for working around my schedule over here. Very cool.
Yes. Thanks for having me on.